We gotta talk. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch is one of my favorite books of all time. I've read through this book about 3 times now, and I've enjoyed every single time that I've gone through this book. It's still the breakneck thriller that I love, that keeps me on the edge of my seat, even though I know what's going to happen next. The way that it's presented, I just freaking love. So naturally, I was super excited to see that it was going to be adapted into a TV show. And I was even more excited to see that Apple TV was going to be the ones who was doing it. Because I know Apple TV has some really good work underneath the belt, especially with adapting books like Silo. I thought they did a fantastic job adapting from that source material, which again was the book itself. And then I saw that Blake Crouch himself was going to be very involved with the production of the TV show as well. So there was a lot going for it that really hyped me up. I mean, Apple TV, the book itself is amazing. So, I mean, what could go wrong, right? So first, I just want to preface this with saying that I did not think the TV show was awful. I did not think it was bad. I thought it was good, but I feel that it could have been more. So the last episode dropped a few days ago, and of course I watched the entire season already, and now I have thoughts on the TV show, compared to the book itself. So when I watched the first episode, I thought they did a fantastic job keeping, very faithful to the source material itself. I mean, some scenes were almost like line for what happened in the book. I did notice that they added a few characters, they changed the POV a little bit in some scenarios, and they changed a couple scenes, of course. I mean, I'm not saying that they have to 100% match what happens in the book, because sometimes what's in the book does not make sense to show on the screen, right? And I thought Joel Edgerton did a fantastic job, acting as Jason Dessen, who is our main character in the book. And for the most part, I thought all the actors, the whole cast, was a fantastic choice for the characters themselves. Besides one, I felt that Leighton was a little bit too cool. He had too much swagger going on to him compared to what I was envisioning inside the book. And Jennifer Connelly did a fantastic job as Daniela as well. And really, overall, I thought the cast was fantastic. So you might be asking me, what's your problem then? I think it really comes down to the way that the book is told in terms of it being a first-person POV, where we get into the mind of Jason Dessen, we get to see what he's thinking, how he's reacting to whatever is happening around him. And this is a story about a family man who wants desperately to get back home, and you as the reader, you want to see that happen, and the journey to get there is just a crazy thrill ride. And I think that Joel Edgerton did a good job in terms of, expressing emotions and reacting to the situation, whatever was going on at that time in the TV show. It's just, for me, one thing that I loved was just the character of Jason in terms of what he was thinking. I just really enjoyed the banter inside of his own mind, the inner monologue, the inner turmoil to do more to get back to his family, which allowed me to connect deeper to the character overall. And then in episode 2 and episode 3, we did get into a little bit more of a shift in terms of the focus of the TV show. And this is not really much of a spoiler because you can see it clearly in the marketing material of the show itself, but the Jasons that we get to follow in the TV show, one is called Jason 2. And in the book, there's not really a huge focus on this character, but in the TV show, there was a huge focus on this guy. And the TV show actually changes it a little bit from the book in terms of giving you more reason, more descriptions, more scenarios as to why you should not like this guy, which I thought was fine, and it totally worked for the TV show. Then we get to see the box, right? One of the main components of the TV show and the book, of course. And I thought the box was super cool. They did a fantastic job showing what that box looks like, and also the corridor. So overall, from a visual perspective, I thought they did a fantastic job, especially with some of the scenes, some of the worlds that they go to, like that diseased, decrepit world. They did a really good job kind of painting that in a very somber and ominous light. And then continuing through the series, they pretty much did match what happened into the book. They added a few more details, a few more scenarios, and a few more worlds, which did fit the plot of the story overall. And one thing that I feel that was missing was just, Jason Dessen himself. He is a family man who wants to get back to his family at all costs. And since it's in a first-person perspective, we get to see that inner monologue of him just wanting, that pure want to get back home because of his love to Daniela and his kid, Charlie. And while reading it, you can definitely just feel it oozing off the page, and you just want to see him get back. In the TV show, I feel that they did try to capture that, and a few different scenes, it just didn't come off as strong compared to the book, in my opinion. Something else I thought was pretty interesting was like the action scenes and the overall suspenseful feel of the book. Right, this is a thriller, it's a page turner, you're trying to figure out what's happening on each page and trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And in the TV show, it just felt a little bit slower, even though it's only 9 episodes. I'm not sure if it's because the episodes were split up, but in the book, overall, it just felt more fast-paced to me. Going through the TV show, going through the episodes, I was pretty happy with what was going on, but I wasn't over the moon floored. Maybe if I came into this TV show from not reading the book and only watching the TV show, maybe I'd have a different opinion on that. But since I read the book, 3 times, there was a lot built up in my mind in terms of what I was expecting. There was also some more focus placed on Daniela as well, because in the book, right, it's told in the first-person perspective, so there are a few scenes in the book where we get Daniela's perspective, but it's not as heavy as a focus like compared to the TV show, which I thought was pretty good in the TV show, because we got to see Daniela, the wheels just turning in her head in terms of, is this really my husband or not? So we got to see that over time a little bit more compared to the book, I think. And when we get to episode 8 and 9, when crap is supposed to hit the fan, at least in terms of what I was expecting from the book, because things get freaking wild at the end of the story, where you're just turning the page as fast as you can to figure out what's going to happen next. I feel that it was a little bit underwhelming from the TV show's perspective in terms of the overarching climax. I mean, yes, there's a whole bunch of Jasons. Yes, some of them are not happy and they fight off each other. I just don't know. It just felt less climactic in the TV show compared to the book itself. Like, I remember reading the book when our Jason gets back to his original spots, and when he got to this online chat, my mind just went, boom. I was just not expecting that to happen at all. And when we got to that scene inside of the TV show, the last 2 episodes, to me, it just didn't come across as suspenseful, not as tense, but, that's just my opinion. So overall, I thought the show was good, but it could have been more. Maybe that's just me being biased towards the book because I've read it 3 times already and I have it on a really high pedestal. I mean, looking at the ratings right now, it's sitting at a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb and also 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. So people obviously like it. It's just, I felt that the book was just more. I know it's kind of a cop-out sometimes just saying that the book is always better than the visual media, but I really do not think that's the case in all scenarios. I mean, in my opinion, Silo, the TV show, did a fantastic job of presenting the story that I actually enjoyed a little bit more compared to the book. So overall, I still recommend that you go watch the TV show. It was still a pretty fun time. In my opinion, it could have been more, and if you have the opportunity, I would still recommend the book over the TV show, though. And those are my thoughts, just a guy here on the internet, talking about a book that he loves. What do you think about the book? What do you think about the TV show? And did it do the book justice? Have a good one. Keep reading. Peace.